Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. And we are live on location at the Connecticut Section CWWA Fall Conference. And with us in the house right now, ladies and gentlemen, fresh off the podium, okay, we have Commissioner Jack Betkoski. Jack, how are you, my buddy?
Hi, Dave. It's great to be with you always.
Hey, it's good to be with you as well. So anyway, great presentation.
Thank you very much.
We have a good turnout.
A beautiful turnout.
And fantastic look at this.
Yeah, that's a great award.
It is a recognition of leadership role and well deserved, Jack.
Well, I was very surprised that Betsy said, "Oh, don't go anywhere. Here it is," and it was very, very kind. And I
well deserved. So, I know you've been head of Pure for what, 20?
20, it'd be almost 28 years.
28 years. God bless you. God bless you. And we spent many a time in New Britain when we had face-to-face meetings, and many a time on Zoom.
Right.
As far as that goes.
You and I spent a lot of time together.
So tell me, giving us the quick recap of your career. I know you're winding down, and tell me how you got into what you're doing.
Well, as you know, I was a state legislator for 10 years.
Yep.
And in 1987, I got a call from then Governor Rowland that said, "Would you like to become a public utility?" At that point, it was DPUC, the old DPUC.
Correct. Yeah.
Before we merged, and he said, "Would you like to be a commissioner?" And I said, "Well, I guess."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, let's see what they do. And I'll tell you, it's been nothing but exhilarating for all that time. I mean, you think of the fact that the things that we deal with there, water, natural gas,
Yep.
electric, telecommunications
Yes.
a little bit,
Yes.
pipeline safety. I mean, this impacts people on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
So being in public service, it kind of was a natural fit to where I'd gone career-wise,
for
Dave.
sure.
So I've enjoyed every minute of it. People are, right now, they're a little upset because their rates have gone high. But, it was also a very hot summer. So
Well, exactly. I mean, and it's speaking of hot summer. And I think you referenced it in your presentation. Climate change is here, and it's here to stay.
climate change is here. When you look at the natural disasters we've had locally,
God.
I mean, it's just
Extreme weather events just down in your neck of the
in
woods.
Oxford, right over the hill from me, as they said. I mean, just the devastation, including 2 lives that it has done. I mean, nobody thought. I mean, I was around. The rain was coming, but I didn't think it was going to create such devastation and tragedy. Awful.
Nobody did.
But one of the highlights of my career has been the chairman of the Water Planning Council.
Yes.
You've been with me every step of the way.
Pretty much.
And we've made a lot of accomplishments. I think we've really put it on people's radar.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot more to do, and I think we just have to keep it front and center. When you don't have it, people realize what a valuable resource it is, as you know.
Well, and the people that sit on the Water Planning Council and the advisory board and so forth. You mentioned Margaret Miner, God bless her. It's we had pieces of the puzzle from every facet of the industry. We had the environmentalists, we had the water companies, we had everybody was there.
Right.
And everybody worked together, towards that common goal. And you were the shepherd, my man.
Well, we had some interesting meetings for sure.
Yes,
and
we did.
We had some real challenges, but at the end of the day, I think we all had the common goal and common resources to get to, and I think people have worked together. And you can see by the people here today and the exhibits out here that people are very passionate about water.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Well, I think too, as well as I do, you and I have been in the industry a long time, and once I tell all my students, okay, it's and you see it today. I mean, there are a lot of new faces down there.
A lot of new faces, and when I'm thinking, that I don't know what I'm going to be doing actually in the future. I love water. I love working in the water business. I'm not sure. I'm going to take some time off in between. That's for sure.
All right.
Take a little break, but I'll keep my finger in it in some way, shape, or form. I think.
Well, I think we should start a podcast together.
Okay, let's do that.
That would be. I think that would be very beneficial.
Let's do it. There's so much happening, and we can talk about water, but we can talk about the rest of the utility world too.
Well, then that's the thing, and then I keep saying to everybody, when we talk about careers in the water and wastewater industry, that umbrella of careers in there is that umbrella is just so expansive.
And I was nice. I did see a lot of young people in the audience today, which I think is nice. People are starting to take it on a career because it is, and I love when interns come and work at our place over a semester or over the summer because that's the future. And
it is.
Because we've had, I bet you about 25% of our workforce retire or leave over the last couple of years, and that's a big void.
Well, and just statistically, from the standpoint of just water operators, okay, we have the average age of a water operator, okay, in the state of Connecticut is 54 years old.
That's amazing.
Okay, they're all scheduled to retire within the next 5 years.
Right.
Okay, and I've been doing water boot camps for MDC for the last, 12 years or so, in trying to get kids interested and so forth in that industry, and they're seeing it. They're finding it tough to help.
And the thing with our place is, because we're economic regulators.
Yep.
There's not a real textbook about that. So
no.
you have to come in and kind of like do on the job training.
Exactly.
Southern Connecticut has a little. They have a program for like water, the industry down there, but they're just kind of starting. But we have to send people to boot camp to get them ready out to Michigan State or something like that.
Sure, and fortunately there are opportunities out there that do that thing.
Right.
But otherwise, if you're coming in, a kid out of college that a lot of times these kids go in to college, and I'm seeing it, in my podcasting is that half the time, or 90% of the people that I ask, and I a standard question, what do you do in your day job? How did you get into the water industry? And 90% of the time, it's by happenstance. I know somebody, my father worked in the industry, my uncle worked in the industry, or my father said, hey, there's this job available. But it's not something that kids going through high school or going through college, I'm going to go to work for the water industry, And
that's very true. A lot of the CEOs that I've met grew up in the water industry.
Yeah.
Eric Thornburg's one.
Exactly.
His father was in the water business. His father-in-law was in the water business, so it was a family affair. So you're right.
It's crazy, and it's not something that, and that's what I'm trying to change. by doing this podcast is say, hey, we got careers here that are well paid,
good pay.
Okay, and the thing about it is it's a secure industry. It's not something you can outsource across the pond.
No.
You need boots on the ground.
You need people
get it done
to do it.
As far as that goes, and legislatively, that that I think this year the short session.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, all of the stuff that comes down, and as well as I do, that the water utilities as well as wastewater utilities are being burdened with regulatory
mandates
that are coming down, and a lot of times those mandates are obviously unfunded. So what do you do?
And it's, people are cost conscious. Everything, price everything's gone up, and if you want to put, like I suggested in my remarks, that maybe like a little bit of something on the water bill to help pay for some of the programs we want to do. I think the water plan is probably one of the most important documents we ever have because it sets a roadmap for the water industry moving towards the future.
Absolutely, and like any town and in any state, we're all dealing with aging infrastructure. We've got pipes that are 100 years old that are underground. And the sad part about it, people think they're not like bridges and roads. Pipes are underground. They're out of sight, out of mind. So unless, you get a 36-inch water main that devastates, it's just like out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Exactly. What do you do? And you got to put that little bit, put the money for the rainy day fund.
And it's costly. What's about $1 million a mile? I would think it is a rule of thumb, something like that.
Yeah, it's which it ain't cheap.
No.
You get to that point. But wow, so fantastic. So, so how's everything in Beacon Falls?
Beacon Falls is speaking of water, we're replacing some water mains in Beacon Falls right now.
Oh, okay.
In the hill section of town right now, and
now who's your water utility down there?
Aquarian and Connecticut Water.
Okay,
we kind of split it.
Yeah.
But I keep busy. I'm chairman of the Economic Development Commission in Beacon Falls. And,
okay.
I keep very active in local affairs. But people, our water companies do a very good job for the most part.
They do.
They really do. And when a pipe goes out, as you know, during the winter they inevitably break, right?
Oh, yeah.
In sub-zero weather.
Oh my God!
Them. You've seen it.
Sure. You get the temperature inside the pipe and expansion, contraction, and especially if you're dealing with pit cast or these cast iron pipes that aren't ductile.
Exactly.
It breaks.
Exactly.
And you got to fix it.
Yep.
To go from there. So, now as far as water utilities, now I think most of the smaller water utilities are primarily dealing with groundwater, correct?
Exactly. What's interesting is that when I came here in 1997, we had about 38 private investor-owned companies, and now I think we have less than 5.
Wow.
Because they've all been merged, and like Aquarian, Connecticut Water.
Yeah.
I mean, they bought up a lot of the companies.
Well, and I think a lot of the companies, Aquarian Water and Connecticut Water, they were told that because a lot of these small utilities couldn't manage this.
Couldn't do it, and there's a lot of synergies when you get the big companies. And to their credit, Aquarian, they kind of let, like, for example, Torrington kind of stand their own, and Valley, and the ones I'm talking about. And then eventually they kind of merged into the bigger organization.
Well, I can remember, in Torrington, Susan Shavanowski. I mean, her and I, she was president of CWWA when I was chair of the section back in the day.
Right.
And she's off hiking. And
she's just coming back from somewhere.
Oh, my God.
I just saw it on Facebook. She's all over the place. Great woman. She did a great job at that company.
Fantastic. And again, that's investor-owned.
Good friend, yeah.
And then we have Hazardville, I think, is still
Hazardville's still independent.
Yeah,
yes.
Independent,
Yeah. And Jewett City.
City.
Yeah.
So, wow, it's unbelievable. Now, the tribes, now, how are they pretty much on their own?
They're on their own.
They're on their own.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a good question. They have their own water utility. I think they have some of their own power, their own generation.
Yes.
And everything.
Yeah.
So they're pretty independent.
Yeah, and so forth. Now, do they still put into the state, as far as part of their slots funds? And,
oh yeah,
and so
yeah,
forth? Okay.
Definitely.
That helps.
It's significant dollars.
Well, it's I mean, a lot of people like to go down and
gamble.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So to go from there, so fantastic. So what's new on the next chapter? What do you think?
Well, I think that I'm going to take a little breather, and then I'll probably do something consulting, and maybe get on a board of some organization moving forward.
Okay.
So. As you know, I'm as I said, very active in local government and civic organizations. So, just to kind of take a
step back a little bit,
a breath to reset.
So, what do you do for hobbies? You got any hobbies?
Boating.
Boating. Okay.
Yeah. I have a place in Bantam Lake, and I love. I just bought a new boat. I just love to go out. And of course, you can't go out in the wintertime, but during the summer, I love to be out in the boat.
Nice. Do you fish at all too, or?
No, but I love to watch. It's funny. I love to watch people come up to the lake and they go off the dock and they fish. I love to watch. A lot of people go out on the lake and fish. So I don't fish, but I love to watch.
Okay, well, that's good. That's all right. So fantastic. So, well, as you know, one of my alter egos, as far as I've been, I'm in the music industry.
Oh yes.
As far as that goes. So, what's your favorite genre of music?
What music?
Well, I mean, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, jazz. I love jazz.
Oh, jazz. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're like me.
I love jazz. Yes.
It's just like, okay.
Oh, I can listen to it all. I love it.
Do you have any specific artists that you like listening to?
Herb Alpert.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
When I was playing in the bands, I played in the bands for years, okay? And when I started out playing in the bands when I was in high school, okay, Herb Alpert was
the...
we started up and we covered, I think, every one of Herb Alpert's tunes. I had a band and we had 2 trumpets in it and so forth, and we covered just about every one.
It was
of
magnetic.
them.
I mean,
oh my God!
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Commissioner Karen, his office is next to me, and he plays a lot of jazz. I could hear it in the background through the walls, but I love it.
Oh so, yeah. You get to the point where it's
very relaxing.
It is. It's infectious and relaxing and so forth. So, if you got stuck on a desert island, okay. What name a couple albums that you would probably bring? You and I are the same age, so we know what albums are.
Yeah, definitely. I probably would bring something from the Beatles, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Something from Carly Simon.
Okay.
I love Carly Simon, and something from James Taylor.
Okay.
I mean, I loved. he's still doing concerts. I just went to his concert.
JT, Carole King and
Carole King. I've seen in person. Those are the ones I would take, definitely.
One of my drum instructors at the store. Okay, we had and he does a podcast at my podcast studio at the music store every Tuesday night, and we had Bernard Purdy. Okay, and Bernard Purdy is probably one of the most recorded drummers in the world. He's played with everybody, both funk and jazz and so forth, and he's even played with the Beatles.
Oh wow!
As far as that goes, but it was just like wow. But yeah, you get to the point where the music it's so infectious, and it's relaxing, and depending on what I'm a jazzer. Being a guitar player, I taught at the Hartford Conservatory for years, but I was big Tony Mottola fan, as far as that goes, and Larry Coryell, and you had some great jazz players, but that's the type of thing.
Music's soothing. It's therapeutic.
Oh God,
I mean,
yes.
You're coming home from a rough day. Put the music on in the car. And
exactly. Of course, now everything is Spotify or.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, yeah.
You got a playlist.
Yes, that's right.
Sometimes you'll see on Facebook. Sometimes you'll see an old playlist was a record player with a stack of 45s. This is my playlist as they go down. But well, anyway. All right, desert island food. If you got stuck on a desert island, what food could you eat every day?
Coconut sun.
Nice. Well, Jack, I think from that side, you've done so much for the state. You've done so much, for the water industry, and it's been indeed my pleasure to be working with you for so many years, and it's been a pleasure.
And keep smiling. You're a dear friend.
Well,
and always there, always consistent, and approaching and supporting what we've been trying to do in the water world. It's very, very important.
Well, it's and again, if we need water every day. We have to regulate it. We have to make sure that it's plentiful for everybody, and you were all part of that process. So, all right.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, no worries, no worries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode, of the future of the water and wastewater industry, and with my dear friend, Commissioner Jack Betkoski, who is going to be kind of stepping back a little bit and chilling out a little bit and moving on to the next chapters in his life. So, Jack, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to doing a podcast in the future.
You too, my friend. Thank you.
All right. That is all.